Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, Tomcat Stitchery. I'm Whitney and today we're here for part 6 of our Style Arc Ziggy Jacket Sew Along. Alright, today we're doing all things sleeves. So we're putting the sleeves together, we're going to put the zippers into the seam. If you need to shorten your zippers, you can go back to part 4 of this sew along and I show you how to shorten zippers, metal zippers in that video that I had to shorten for the pockets for the front. So I'm not going to do that today, but I did do that on the week 4. So I will pop that video up here if you need it. Okay, so we're doing all things sleeves, putting the sleeves in, and yeah, you're going to have a complete shell of a jacket when today's done, and it's good. I wish I had chosen a little bit thinner leather, but other than that, the finished jacket is pretty phenomenal. I'm very excited about it. All right, as always, if you like this type of video and you'd like to help support the channel, I do have a Ko-fi account, which is like a virtual tip jar. All the money that I collect from that does go right back into the channel, paying for materials, supplies, equipment, that sort of thing, that mainly goes to help for the sew-alongs and the tutorial videos. All right, that's all I have for today. Let me know if you have any questions and I'll answer those as soon as possible. We're gonna finish up next week, guys. It's very exciting. Bye. Okay, let's get the sleeves finished and put in, and we will have a coat. And the next week we can put it all together. It's very exciting. Okay, so this is where we're heading today. Obviously I've already done one. It's gonna look very unfinished right now because it really is gonna get finished off when we've attached the lining to it. Because the lining is going to get attached to the hem here, and then this is going to get folded up, and your lining and everything will get stitched as far as possible up onto this zipper tape, and then it'll get flipped around. So it's going to be fun. So it's going to look unfinished today, but we are going to make the sleeve, and then we're going to get the sleeve inserted. The sleeves inserted. Okay, so for today, we need to throw our seam ripper on the floor. It's rolling away from me. Pattern pieces that we need for today, and I'm going to send you, you need a shortened zipper, and I will send you back to when we did the shortened zippered, it's the same process for shortening a zipper that we did in the pocket tutorial, so that's what you're going to need, your shortened zipper. You're going to need the top of your sleeve that you did your top stitching or quilting if you decided to do that. You're going to need the corresponding lower top sleeve. And then you're going to need your undersleeves. Now, there is a spot here on the pattern with notches that says zip right here. Zip. So your zipper is going to go from this notch to this notch. This is the hem, obviously, that gets folded up. So that is what we're working in for the zipper here. And that area, I have just fused some of that same interfacing. So you can see I've got my notch here and my notch there. So I just went all the way to the hem on that one. But I went up about, I don't know, 1.5 inches probably. Just kind of arbitrary. So you need that on the undersleeve. There goes that piece. And also on the top sleeve. This is a sticker that was on the back of the leather, which you can actually see the same sticker up here. Oops. Okay, so let's get sewing. So let's start with our 2 upper sleeve pieces first. So I'm going to put my pattern pieces out of the way here. We don't need those. I don't need my zipper yet. Or my undersleeve. Okay, so let's start. Obviously, I'm just showing you one sleeve. You'll need to do this times 2. Okay, so our little upper sleeve here should have, if you can kind of see that, there's 2 notches that I've marked right here, like a double notch that needs to match up with the double notch on the upper sleeve. So just make sure you're matching the correct top of the sleeve with the correct bottom of the sleeve, because there's a front and a back. Okay. So you should have a mirror of your 2, should be mirror. All right, so we're just going to sew the top sleeve to the bottom sleeve. Gosh dang it. I'm having such a time with, I know I could glue this, but I don't want to. I also think that, I mean, I'm using a Teflon foot, and that works, but I really feel like a walking foot or some kind of a feeding system would be helpful in this project, especially with some of the top stitching and the thicker stuff. There we go. I could also just take the back stitch function off and then tie off, but that's just a lot of work. I will also say that after this project, I'm going to be doing something with a very easy to work with material. Palette cleanser. Okay, now we just want to finger press this seam open, and we are going to top stitch it on both sides like we've been doing. Actually, I kind of started in that seam a little bit, so I'm just going to go back real quick. Oh, for heaven's sake. My machine unthreaded. One moment. Okay. Now let's top stitch. Just finger pressing that open. Side. Then the other side. All right, so now we have our upper sleeve all nice and top stitched. Okay, so now we're going to sew the sleeve seam that does not have the zipper in it, which is the shorter side of the undersleeve here. Okay. Oh my gosh, you may hear my dog barking because she's very angry that she's not getting a treat right now because she's spoiled and we've created a monster. Okay, so we're going to be sewing this seam here. So this is kind of the an underarm seam. Now the underarm is directly underneath here. That matches up with the side seam, which is why we can't put these sleeves in flat. Trying to ignore her. She's such a little stinker. Okay. And I'm just going to be matching my notches as I go. Okay, once we've sewn that, we are also going to go through, oh, hello, you spoiled little angry puppy. If looks could kill right now, she really is a sweet little dog, but my word. think she might have a greenie problem because she's supposed to only get one a day. Okay, now we're gonna go either side of our seam allowance, and I'm going on the right side first because we're gonna need to hammer this side right here where this seam intersection is. So we're just going to sew on down. All right, before we do this other side, oops, sorry. Just gonna give it a good hammer open. So now we can do the other side. Slow over that bulk. Okay, we've got a sleeve, folks. All right, now, before we sew up the other seam, we are going to prep for our zipper, just like we did, well, similar to the way we did it for the pocket opening. I'm going to take my stitch length from a 3mm stitch length down to like a 2.5. We're not going super small. And this top notch, which is where the zipper goes, we are going to just make a little L on either side. We're going to go just shy of that. One more stitch. Just shy of that 5/8. Go down just a hair. And then we are going to do the same on the other side at that top notch. We just have to do it at the top because the bottom of the zipper is obviously the bottom of the sleeve. Okay, that's good. Okay, so we've got little reinforced corners on either side of where our zipper is going to go. Okay, I'm going to put this back at a 3mm so I don't forget. Okay, so now we need our zipper and we need some Wonder Tape, which I forgot, so hold on. All right, now we are going to sew our other underarm seam up. And what I'm going to do, I really want the upper sleeve to be against the feed dogs. However, I want this little notch, these little reinforced corners to match up perfectly. So I'm going to start sewing down here at that point, and then we're going to flip it and go the other way because there is a little bit of easing that needs to happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to sew this 3/8 of an inch, and I'm just want to make sure we are going to use clips when we're inserting the sleeve. really hard to do around a camera. Okay. Should be good. Okay. All right. So we're just going to go up just a little bit. And then I'm going to... Oh, no, wait. The upper sleeve is on the bottom. Oh, my word, folks. Never mind. You want the upper sleeve on the bottom because there's some easing that needs to happen. But on this sleeve, one sleeve, you'll be fine. The other one, you'll need to flip, which was the other one for me. Oh, okay. 3/8 of an inch. Okay, now this seam, we're not going to be able to press open and top stitch open, which really bothers me. But my leather is too thick. Honestly, in retrospect, this is like upholstery leather for a chair, and it's fine for the jacket, but it might be, it's a little on the thick side, which I think is why I'm having issues. But issues that I probably wouldn't have if I were using a thinner leather. Anyway, I've put links down in the description box for Tandy leather, and I would just go with like a calfskin leather or something that's thinner. Be a little bit better. But anyway, I am going to hammer this open just to kind of help it stay open. But obviously, we're going to have the zipper down here, which is going to keep this open down here at the bottom. But I am going to go and just kind of give this a good hammer. And I'm going to just like lightly hammer this open just to kind of give it the idea that it wants to stay open. So I'm going to go over to the ironing board and do that really quickly, and then we're going to put our zipper in. Okay, now we're ready. So it's not, obviously not staying like a pressed open seam, but yeah. Okay, now we're going to clip into our reinforced corners. We're going to clip to, but not through. On either side. Okay. Now, before we get into that, we're going to take our zipper. I'm just going to put a little Wonder Tape on either side. I had to open up a new package, so we got to get it started. Oh, it starts there. Helps if you find the starting spot. There we go. Okay. And I'm only going to put the Wonder Tape from like the starting stopper to the bottom stopper. Just put it on. Okay. And I think that that should be it for the Wonder Tape, so that's exciting. All right. Now, with the leather sleeve that I did previously, I put the zipper in with the zipper pull up. You don't want to do that. You can't. That does nothing for your sleeve. Your zipper stop needs to be up, and your pull, when it's closed, should be at the bottom of the sleeve. Good gracious, I tell you. Okay, so if it helps you to like put it into orientation when it's all flipped over, you want it kind of like this to go into the sleeve. So it doesn't really matter which side you want to start with. We are just going to take just one side of our tape off. And I want to line up so I've clipped in here, but I want to line this stop up with that corner that I did as much as possible. And you kind of have to pull things out of the way, and I'm even pulling that cut piece up out of the way for now. And then I'm just going to press it down. Like so. Okay, now we get to battle the stupid zipper pull again. Should have gone with the size 3 zippers. Okay, so we're going to start here, and we're just going to sew it down. Up so we can get our pull out of the way. Oh, that worked well. Just make sure your little notches are out of the way there. All right, so there's one sewn to that side. Okay, so now we're going to flip it over. And we are going to do the same thing over here. Oops. I hate when the glue doesn't stick to the tape. Come on. There we go. All right. So I'm going to pull the little notchy things out of the way. And I want this again. I mean, this should lay, you know, pretty evenly right where it needs to go up there. And the hem of my sleeve is all even, so that's good too. Just little things to check. Okay, I'm gonna start up here this time, and I'm just pulling all of that, you know, the whole seam out of the way there. Pull out of the way. Oh, it's going to be more difficult there. Okay. Hand crank past the zipper pull. Stupid zipper pull. Okay. Now we have that sewn in there. We're so close. Okay, next we just want to finish off the top here so that, you know, close up that little hole. To make sure everything is lying nice and flat. And I found this was easier to do, especially with my thicker fabric, with the sleeve turned right side out so that I'm kind of sewing into a hole. Okay, so we're going to do that real quick. So I'm going to just unzip my zipper, flip this right side out. Also getting nervous about turning this outside that small lining hole that we've got. All right, so from the right side, obviously we've got our little top here that still needs to be figured out. So everything is gonna lie flat. We're almost there. Or did I do it this way? Now I'm second guessing myself. Maybe I did sew it the other way. I just want to make sure that those yeah, maybe I do want it. Never mind. Turn it back wrong side out. Oh my gosh.
The suede of this sleeve, the sueded side, just wants to get caught in everything, which obviously will be much better once you've got a lining. Okay. Okay, I guess this does make sense. All right, now we're just going to sew the end here. So you want your seam allowance open, so just kind of make sure it's open. And, oh, good gracious. It's open. And then you want to flip those guys kind of up so that they are... So everything is pressed open. And then you want your little triangles here to come up. It's similar to doing a welt pocket. It's the same idea. But we're on a seam, so we've got like, instead of having one triangle, we've got two. All right, now my game, or my goal here, is to just sew, just to get these little triangles tacked down to the zipper tape. And this is just really hard because this is not very malleable fabric. Okay, it's like folding over on itself. Come on. Close the zipper. Sorry, I'm just closing the zipper there just to kind of keep that from a little more stable. Okay. I probably will do this just one side at a time. Moved it right off the tape. Might be easier just to focus on one side of the seam at a time. This is where it gets a little fiddly, just with those smaller seam allowances too. Okay, I'm only sewing one side of the, okay, to this one side of the seam to the zipper tape. Now we're going to do this other side. That even catch? Oh, it did. Okay. Oh, so much thickness. Okay, so once I've got those anchored to that zipper tape, everything should be fine now. Okay, after much frustration, I've switched to my zipper foot. Basically, here at the top, we just need to get really close to that zipper stop. And I should have left a little bit more tape, I feel like, in there when I was taking off the teeth. I mean, I had to remove the teeth, but... Okay, so this is what I'm doing. So my sleeve is right side out, and then I have just folded, I've unzipped it, and then folded back this part of the sleeve just so I can have access to this under the presser foot, okay? So I'm putting this down because I want my zipper up because I want to be able to see where that stop is. My zipper is unzipped. And then we're just going to manhandle it under the presser foot. And hopefully everything works out well. I can just get so much closer in there, but even still, the bulk is kind of pushing me away. However, is that better? I think when all is said and done, that is going to be... Yeah, I think that's going to be good. We still, there we go. We still have to put our lining in. And honestly, when I do put my lining in, I think I'm going to switch back over to this zipper foot so I can get a little closer to the teeth when I'm sewing everything in to the zipper and stuff. So that's the key, the zipper foot. Okay. These zippers have been just a real beast. Okay, we're gonna now insert it into the coat, and I am using clips for this. Let's get to it. Okay, I thought we would go at this angle just for this because I've really got to be under the machine. You guys have seen me put sleeves in before, just because this leather is no joke. However, I did get a really nice insert of the one sleeve. So I'm feeling very good about that. I'm going to widen the zoom just a little bit. Okay, just so you can see. I just really want to make sure you guys can see everything. Okay, including my crazy hair. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put the sleeve that we just created in. Now, I've got little hashtags. Okay. I've got little hashtags here where I have for my notches, and that literally is going to tell you where everything goes. There's no seam to match with the underarm. That is all, it's just this notch because it's a two-piece sleeve. All right, so we're going to take our jacket and we're going to turn the jacket inside out. Like so. Our sleeve is going to stay right side out. Make sure you've got the correct sleeve to the correct side. Okay, so I'm going to start, and I'm matching my side seam of my coat with the notch that is here on the undersleeve. And I'm using binder clips. Instead of Wonder clips, I don't have any Wonder clips. So I'm just using your office supply binder clips. It worked really well on the last sleeve. So I'm just going to clip it. So we're going to do the under part, the kind of underarm part first. You know, where you're not really, everything's kind of one-to-one. And I'm just going to clip as I go. I used quite a bit of these clips, to be honest. Okay, and I'm going to go up. There's a notch that matches to this seam here at the yoke. So I'm going to stop there, and I'm on the front of the sleeve there, the yoke seam that's at the front of the sleeve. Oops. You really want to make sure that you're clipping everything nice and flat. I may put one more. Okay. So now I'm going to skip and go to the back side of the sleeve. And this underarm, it's not an underarm seam, but the seam that we couldn't top stitch open, I'm just finger pressing that open, making sure, and then I'm going to clip it. And you do have a little bit of extra seam allowance that kind of comes over. It's just the nature of the seam allowance. So I just want to make sure that that stays open while I'm sewing. Okay. And then there's also, I think, is there? Yeah, there is. There's another little notch to the side on the jacket that matches with this notch on the sleeve. So there's not a notch that matches up with the yoke seam on the back side. Okay, so now we've got this, all of the ease that goes into the sleeve cap that you can, no, can you even see that? We have all of this, checking my watch, ease that needs to fit into the rest, to the top part of the sleeve. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip, there's the top of the sleeve, and there's a little notch on this yoke part that matches up to the top of the sleeve because the yoke goes over. But when we get to this part, just like if I were pinning, I kind of roll, because I'm going to sew it this way too, roll the sleeve to the outside a little bit so it kind of rolls up and over the jacket. And I find that that just really helps eat up that ease. I mean, it's building it in. You need the ease up there. So if you just kind of, and just go slow, start from one side of the sleeve and go to the other. And you will have some rippling because that's just the nature of the beast, especially with the leather. Oops. Leather is not known for being super easy to ease in. But I will say, I didn't really have an issue sewing in the other sleeve. I didn't get any pinches or puckers, so. The instructions of this pattern also tell you if you're using leather to remove the ease from the sleeve cap, which I mean, how many people know how to do that? But basically, if you just scooch the top of the sleeve up a little bit past, so you're not matching raw edges really, you're just scooching the sleeve up just a little bit up here at the top, that will remove some of that built-in ease. It's just an easy way to do that on the fly. Okay. So there we go. I have a very colorful pinched in sleeve into the arm side. But you can see here, like I've got, you know, a lot of gaping here. All right, so when I'm sewing this, again, I just want everything to roll to the outside. It's harder at the underseam, at the underarm seam. It really does it well at the top of the sleeve. Okay, so we want everything rolled to the front. And we are going to go so slow. So, just going to wedge this. I'm starting somewhere on the underarm. Sometimes it's kind of hard once you're under here to figure out what's what. And I'm also going to be doing a lot of twisting the code and just kind of trying to get under here. And I'm sorry you can't see very well, but after I sewed that first one in, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to be able to do this through a viewfinder. And I'm going to try and not let the coat completely cover up your view. But it might, because this leather is really taking on a life of its own. Okay. 3mm stitch length. And I'm just slowly going around, taking my clips off when I get to them. Okay, so that's exactly what that was. Right at the side seam. Just little by little. So starting at the underarm seam helps just because everything is like a one-to-one, like the curves match. It's just a little, you're not easing anything in yet. It's a good place to kind of get started. And I am, okay, I think this is the, yeah, coming up onto the seam that is not top stitched down. So I just, hammering it helped though. Make sure that all stays open. And tacking it down, obviously, there at that point will help as well. Oops. Oh, no. Okay. How did I break my thread? No. How long have I been not sewing? Oh, not too long. Okay, we're just gonna do some overlap here. There we go. All right. As we make our way to the top of the sleeve, now we're getting into the area where we've got some ease. But really, I mean, the presser foot's doing its job. I mean, the presser foot, the feed dogs are really doing its job. I do have it, and I'll show you when I get off. I do have it coming up over, like my raw edges are not matched up right here at the top of the sleeve a little bit. But the good thing about leather is that it's really hard to catch a pinch because it's so thick. It doesn't like easily fold over on itself. So you do have that to your advantage. At this point, I'm looking for any and all upsides to sewing with leather. This happens every single time. I honestly really enjoy working with leather, and for the most part. And I like wearing it. It's just kind of fun, but it is a all hands on deck, you know, muscling through. It's not a relaxing sew. So I will be ready for something with cotton. Something structured, maybe. I find button-up shirts, colored shirts to be very therapeutic, very easy to sew. That might be my next project. Okay, so my sleeve is in, and you can see that we've got, you know, the rippling that's there at the seam, which is what we want. Oh, gosh, you are not even... Oh, when did that do? Hold on. Not sure what happened there. Sorry about that. Okay. So we've got the rippling that's there, the sleeve, which is fine. That's what you want. That's that ease that's built in a little bit. And you can see up here at the top where my raw edges aren't matched perfectly. Like I've scooched things up. That's okay. If I had wool, it would have all eased in, you know, beautifully, and you would have been fine. Even denim. But look at the sleeve when all is said and done. Like, that's a really beautiful sleeve cap there. You kind of see that. I'm very happy with that. Kind of gives it some nice shaping, having the seam allowances pushed through there. So there we go, guys. That is it for today. I hope that this was helpful. Very pleased with my sleeves being in. Next week, we're going to put our lining, which we made in week 2, into the coat, and then we'll be done. We're going to finish up next week, and I am so excited about that. All right, I'm sorry. I feel like this one got a little confusing just with that stupid zipper. But let me know if you have any questions and I'll try and answer them. All right, thank you guys. Bye.